Hello and welcome to The Thrifty Author. I'm your host, Gail Z. Martin. And today I want to talk about beating burnout. Now, 2020, wow, it's been one heck of a ride, hasn't it? And it's not over yet. I think if I probably speak for just about everybody to say we're tired. You get to the end of this year, it has been everything from murder hornets to, you know, wild bear attacks. You never knew what was going to happen next, and all of the other craziness on top of a pandemic and staying at home and canceling vacations and canceling business trips. It's been that year. And so we get to this point in the year and we're tired. We're emotionally tired. We're physically tired. Even though we haven't been going places, we're still, it's probably a little bit of depression there. We're tired. We're worn out. We're burned out. And for those of us who are in a creative profession, burnout is really hard when you're supposed to use your brain to tell a story. And I can't speak for people who paint paintings or play music, but sometimes getting the neurons to snap and come up with story. I know it's easier at other times, but it's just taking longer this year. And that can be very frustrating. That can be very annoying. You start beating yourself up. Why is it taking me so long? And that just contributes to more frustration, more burnout. You kind of get the picture. And I think also there have been, not only have there been catastrophes that did happen this year, but there have been all these other catastrophes that might happen. And so we've all been hunkered down, not only over what is actually going on, but what might be coming. And at a certain point, you just can't stress anymore. Your brain, I think, just goes, oh, what the frack. So I think we're all there. And what I find is one sign that I can tell that I'm feeling that burnout is when it is a lot easier for me to do everything but writing. It's a lot easier for me to do my marketing. It's a lot easier to do my follow-up. It's a lot easier to do my fulfillment. It's a lot easier to do my email. It's a lot easier to check Facebook. Everything except putting words on page, because words on page is hard. And usually words on page is an escape. Words on page is, oh, I can go tell my story and escape into my fantasy world, and I don't have to deal with those nasty administrative tasks that are essential and somebody has to do them. And oh, I guess that somebody is me. I think it's a left brain, right brain thing. I think right now our right brains have just given up, changed their forwarding address and moved to the beach, have forgotten to tell the rest of us about it. So what do you do about burnout when you have book deadlines, and whether those are imposed from outside because publishers bought something and they're expecting you to turn in a manuscript, or whether it's your own self-imposed deadline that you want to get this book written by a certain period, a certain point in the year, or you want to get a certain number of books done, so you really kind of have to keep on schedule. It can be very hard to keep yourself on that regimen when, what day is it? Who knows? Who cares? What month is it? Aren't we still in March? What time of day is it? Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I mean, it can be very hard to try to keep to a schedule in all of that. And then you put on top of that feeling mental and some physical burnout, and putting words on paper gets to be, a lot harder. So what are some ideas for getting yourself out of that slump when you're feeling burned out, but you really do need to keep writing and you can't just take a couple of weeks off and hang out on the couch? Well, I'll tell you a few things that work for me. Your mileage may vary. I am a big believer in naps. They don't have to be long naps. In fact, I do better with about a 20 to 30 minute nap than I do just laying down on the couch and hoping I wake up before morning. If I really, pardon me, if I really do that kind of nap, I wake up, I really don't know what year it is. And I am so fogged from it, it's going to take me a couple of hours to get back to work. If I take a 20 to 30 minute nap, I usually try to do it sitting up on the couch so I don't get too deep under. I have read that if you drink a cup of coffee or something caffeinated right before you take a 20 to 30 minute nap, that's actually the most effective, because then the caffeine has time to hit your system. And about the time your alarm goes off, the caffeine is hitting your system anyhow, so you wake up feeling very energized. That's at least the way it seems to work for me. So naps. Go eat something. Sometimes when we are focused too hard on doing something, or we get caught up in a task, we forget that we're overdue for lunch, or we forgot to eat breakfast, or shouldn't I be eating dinner? Eat. Or if you're between meals, go have a piece of fruit, go have a healthy snack. It really does perk you up. And sometimes just getting up to make that for yourself uh, wakes you back up again, kind of gets you back on track. Visit with someone on Zoom. Sometimes we just need a little bit of human contact to get out of funk. And maybe you discuss your burnout with the person, or maybe not. Maybe you just have a nice human interaction with somebody and you talk about something completely different and you find that you're energized and that you've got ideas back. It really does help. And you know, the person on the other end of that Zoom call is probably feeling the same way and probably very, very glad you reached out to initiate it. I also find that changing up your routine can make a big difference. Now, maybe that means that I intended to write today, but the words just aren't coming right now. So instead, I know I have to research something. So, okay, let's make productive use of time and I'll research instead and try to write maybe a little bit more tomorrow. Or maybe I do a site visit. You know, if a site that you're writing about is close by, get your car, drive past it. You don't have to get out. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to worry about, running into a live person if you're still in your car and moving. If it's close by and you can do that, it'll probably make you feel better anyhow to get out in the sunlight and just get out of the house. If the places you're writing about aren't that close, I have become very fond of Google Earth and Google Street View, as well as a lot of tourism videos on YouTube and just pictures on Pinterest. Go visit the site in whatever virtual way you can. Google Earth and Google Street Views are fantastic, and it really makes you feel like you're there. There are other sites that have people taking pictures out their windows all over the world. This is the view from my window. Again, great way to recharge yourself, see some pretty scenery, get some ideas, and take a little mental break. Take a walk. Just get up, move, dance to a song. Sometimes just breaking the pattern instead of sitting there and trying to slog through it and shoulder through it, which I do, I'm like, no, darn it, I don't deserve to get up and dance to something. I haven't gotten my words yet. Oh, come on. It's 2020. We all need a break. Cut yourself some slack. Read for fun. Promise yourself, set an alarm. Say, I'm going to read for the next 15 minutes, something that has nothing to do with what I'm writing, just to relax my brain muscle and let me come back feeling refreshed. Read a how-to book on how to do a better newsletter, how to do better videos, how to do YouTube better, how to get more followers on Instagram, whatever it is that is one of your projects coming up. Go read a how-to book or a couple of chapters of a how-to book or watch a video. Again, it is taking your brain in a different direction than trying to force words on page. And it can give you some new ideas that you feel energized about. And then you come back to the actual writing part of things, feeling energized. And now all of a sudden things are flowing and you're doing better. Change perspective. I worked at an ad agency at one point where the owner, who was a wonderful, brilliant, creative, eccentric guy, said that sometimes when he got creatively blocked, he would go out in his backyard and he would try to see things from a completely different point of view, which might mean laying down on the ground and looking up at the sky through his bushes, or sitting someplace in his yard that he never sat and seeing the perspective from a seated position as opposed to standing up, which may have been how he always saw it. Whatever it is, try getting a new perspective. Maybe you climb higher, you lay down, maybe you get close, maybe you try to get microscopic if you can do that with your camera or your phone. Go out and take some pictures. When you are looking at whether it's things in your house or things outside your house from the perspective of taking a picture of it, now all of a sudden you're looking at the world in a very different way. You're looking at it in an artistic way. You're sizing up aspect ratios and placement and colors and lighting, and your brain is in a different place than forcing words on page. So even if you go out and take pictures of whatever's blooming in your garden or what's covered with snow in your garden, it's a nice break and it gives you something to post on social media. Bonus. If you're still stuck, go, there are some great sites out there that offer writing prompts, daily writing prompts. Some of them are silly, some of them are serious. Pick something or come up with something and just write a silly paragraph or two. Flash fiction doesn't even have to have a plot. Maybe it's just describe something. come up with your own or find one on a prompt site. The reason those prompts work is they kind of get you settled in. They let you stretch your muscles, your brain muscle. They let you get comfy, and then you can turn your attention to something serious. So that's not wasting time. That's like doing warm-ups before you work out or before you do a gymnastics performance. Keeps you from straining something. So doing a fun or silly prompt, and you never know, that prompt could lead you to come up with a whole new book series. Just what most of us need, right? Because we already have 20 already in a file somewhere that we don't have time to write, but it could unblock you. Maybe that prompt will get you thinking about something that has had you stymied in the book you're actually working on. And now, whether you use what you actually wrote for that prompt or not, you've got the gist in your mind, and now you're not blocked anymore, and you can go do that. And then change projects. You know, if you're really, really stuck, tell yourself, okay, look, for the next 2 days, I'm going to work on a completely different project. Maybe it's writing some blogs for your blog or guest blogs. Maybe it is coming up with some advanced social media content so that you can program it with a site like Hootsuite or Later, so that you don't have to think about creating new content all the time. Maybe it's signing up for promotions. Maybe it is outlining the next book or series, or writing a short story to have as a reader magnet, or doing some flash fiction for a contest or just because, or for a newsletter bonus. Or maybe there's another project that's been percolating in your brain, and if you go out and write a chapter or two of it, it'll solidify that new project. But a lot of times, once you get those creative juices going and you feel some success, then it's easier to go back to what you were working on, where you were feeling blocked and stymied and frustrated, and take some of that sense of success with you and go, hey, I had no trouble writing over here, so I can write this over here too. And, you know, it's games we play with our own brains, but it works. And I know I find myself doing that when I'm just at a stuck point in a book. All of these things have worked for me at one time or another. So give them a shot. Like I said, your mileage may vary, but hey, there's nothing to lose. They're all free, and they can be a lot of fun. That's it for this time, but there'll be more tips coming up soon. And in the meantime, I'll see you online. Thanks for listening.